G'day, back again with the LS1 block. Just got that back from some machine work, installing a 303 stroker kit and some other bits and pieces on it. We'll start off by installing some main bearings. Start with the center one. Move on to the rest. So if you're wondering which ones are top and bottom, the bottom one have the little oil holes in them, so top ones don't. Take our assembly lube and just give it a bit of a hit. Now we can drop in our very light stroker crank. With the bearing installed in the center main cap, can throw that one in. $13 and $15. So with our main bolts just snug down a little bit, I'm going to move it back. We're about 5 or 6 below zero. Then we're going to move it forwards and we're about 5 above zero. So I think we're aiming for between 10 to 12 thousandth of, this is in mil here, so yeah, 10 to 12 or 3 to 4 thousandths of an inch, I think. So yeah, that's right within range. Starting with the inner bolts, I'm going to go to 15 foot-pound. Our angle torque gauge. And the book wants 80 degrees. So we're going to put that on. Let's set ourselves to 0. We want 80 degrees. What are we at? So 80 there. Do the same thing this side. $80 degrees. Then we're going to switch to our outer bolts, which again we start with 15 foot-pound. Now this time we're going to go for 53 degrees. Just gonna zero this one off. $53 there. That's about 53 degrees there. And these side bolts just get taken to 18 foot-pounds. Just like that. And we repeat these steps for all the rest of the bearings there. Got a fresh rod, fresh piston. So these valve reliefs are 3.4 cc. What you want to do, get your first clip and struggle to get it in. So I just got that end seated in there, then used my little flat blade screwdriver in this little slot to just pop that side in, and then this side. Just like that, that'll pop in. Next you want to get your wrist pin, some assembly lube, and on the non-pin side, non-clip side, you just get it started, get the rod, just line it up and push it through. Try to push it through as far as you can and give yourself a bit more room for that clip. Then with your sweaty lubey hands, you struggle to get the pin in again. Just like that. Ooh, just like that. So should be no up and down placement, side to side I believe is fine, but yeah, as long as there's no up and down. So yeah, just repeat that 7 more times. Just stop the time lapse there to show you the new way I'm doing this. So when you're lubing up, when I'm lubing up the wrist pin, I'm shoving it through and it's all the lube's getting stuck there and not making it all the way through to this other side. So just getting some assembly lube and put it on my finger, run that around the inside there. Inside there. And on the inside of there. Yeah, I just found that yeah, Push it through, still got lube on it. Now it's going through there. When it comes through, still got a bit of lube on it. Righto, just getting the cylinders ready for when I go to set the ring gap. So since it's been sitting in my dirty, dusty shed, I'm just going to give the cylinder walls a bit of a brake clean, and just in case there's a bit of dust in there. All clean. And just get some, I'm going to use gearbox oil. And just rub some around the inside just there. And repeat the same over the other side. So I'm going to start with the top rings. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to do one by one. I'm going to start with this one, then do the second ring, put it on a piston. Every ring gap is correct for every cylinder. Probably doesn't matter too much, but so you get one. You get the top ring in, and then with a piston, I've put a second ring on. What that helps me do is put it in square, like that. And as you can see just here, there's a bit of a gap in the ring. I'll take our feeler gauges. I'm going to guess that's at around 0.008 currently. Oh, nope. So about 0.05 that one is. So take it over to the filey tool. So I want to throw it in the little filey tool and just make sure that we grind a straight edge on here. So just do small amounts at a time. Check it. So that 0.014 is pretty tight in there, so we'll go take a little bit more off. So that's the 0.18 feeler gauge in there, pretty tight, but yep, goes in, so I'm happy with that. We'll repeat the process for the next lot of the top rings, but I'll move on to the second ring now. Righto, so I just got the second ring in. For this one we're chasing about 0.0196, so I'll start with 0.019 feeler gauge, and that one goes in, so we'll go up to 0.02. It goes in but it's tight, so we'll call it about 0.02, which is probably where we want it. So I've just got a dodgy looking 8 written on this one for cylinder number 8. So we're going to look at the second ring first. So I've got that kind of ring, so that's how that one sits on there. Not sure if you can see it or not, but it's got a little groove taken out of it down this side. So yeah, that'll sit in the second ring like that. And then for the top ring, I've got this kind here where it's got a little grooved edge on the inside. So yeah, that's how we'll run that one, with that little groove at the top on the inside. So I've just tested both the oil rings. The 15th hour feeler gauge fit in both of them, so apparently these ones come ready to go. Then we just got another oil ring. This one is our third one, so this one goes in first down the bottom, and it's got a little little divot there, not sure if you can see it or not there, but in your piston there's little dips for those to sit in, so there's some rings come with the 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that hold them in place, but this one's only got the one of them, so make sure that little thingy's facing down. Working around. So that sits in the bottom. Then we'll find where our little lumpy thingy is and just work that around to sit in one of the dots. Right, so we got that sitting above one of the little indents, so just press it down all the way around. Like that. Then we can get our first oil ring. So just want to offset this one, so we'll have, if that's there, we'll have the gap around here. Like that. And another oil ring, so that gap's there. We'll put this gap around that side. I'm having all kinds of dramas. Righto, so that was a bit painful, but our bottom oil ring gap, if that's the piston, should be over here, right there, and then the oil, this oil gap, the middle one, is in here, as long as it's within this range. And our top oil ring goes round about there, so install that one. And now it wants to be easy. So yeah, that's our top oil ring gap about there, which is about right. So making sure the second ring is around the right way, we want the ring gap about up the top there. So our top ring, our gap will be on the opposite side of the second ring, around here. Just like that. So that one's ready to go. Put that to the side and then repeat the same steps for the other 7. Before I install every one of them, I'm laying it down and pouring some oil, some engine oil on there, just to work it into the piston rings. Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Just to make sure they're properly lubed and not waiting for a while on the first start before I get the lube. Also while I'm turning it over and they're lubed up.
Yep, so there's no scratching going on.
Yep.
So what does the ring thing do, Toby, around the top of it?
Just squashes the rings in so I can get them into the cylinder.
So it doesn't like fall apart as you're putting it in? Or...
Yeah. Of course, the rings open up so you
clamp
squeeze
them
it in so it closes the rings down. So yeah, just lock all the rings in, tap around the outside and then a tighten up, and then just a light tap on top.
So it just slides down.
Yep. Just with my other hand, I'm guiding it down so it doesn't scratch the crank or anything on the way down.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm only just lightly tapping like that, and that's enough just to pop it in like that. So then, just lightly tap it down a bit. And I'm just going to push down. line that up with the crank. Line that up with the crank there. Now I can put a end cap on the end.
What do you reckon is going to work? Is the shaving going to work?
Hopefully.
So, what are you doing? Just spinning it to see if it clears?
Yep. One of the rod bolts was touching right here, so I just did a bit of a mark around where I'm going to have to die grind out. Just take the absolute minimum amount out for the rod bolt to clear. Probably I should have taken a video of it when it was in, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. So just giving it a nice brake clean, get rid of all the shavings.
Yep.
So just here, that last rod bolt was just touching, so I've done some light work there so we can spin it around.
Nice.
Success. Hopefully I don't have to do too much more of it. Mistake I've made. You see on here, one of these is chamfered around there. The other side is flat.
Yep.
So the chamfer side goes on the outside here. So I'd go like that.
Yep.
So the problem with that, the rod's around the wrong way.
Oh no.
Yep.
What are you going to
So
do?
I've got to pull all the rings off and twist them around, and it's like that on a lot of them. So.
Bruh.
Just like that.
So you're just checking to see if it all spins properly, or?
Yep. Yeah, check for any, if it gets tight at all. If you do it on every single one, so run it over, feels good, run it over, feels good. And on this one you run it over, and it feels a bit tight, and you know something's wrong. So
you know which one it is.
Yeah, know when you've done something.
Ah.
So, we're at the torquing stage of the bolts. So, basically we're going to start with these ones, just by choice, tighten both, and then work our way forwards. So, let me check some torque specs and I'll get back to you.
Right.
So final torque spec will be 65 foot-pounds, and it asks for it in 3 stages. So we're going to go with 25, 45 and 65. So set the torque wrench 25 foot-pounds, which is also 34 newton meters. We're pretty much already there. Then we're going to go to 45 foot-pounds, which is also 61 newton meters. So I've pulled up at 45 newton meters, and all I'm doing here is just checking for a little bit of sideways wiggle. So backwards and forwards on the crank, sideways is good. There should be no down and up the rod, if that makes sense. So that way play is bad, but that way play just a little bit is good. So not at our final torque, but yeah, a little bit of play, just making sure nothing's gone wrong yet.
That's a good sign.
So 65 foot-pounds is our next one, or 88 newton meters.
Beautiful.
Right, so bit of a wiggle again. We've got a tiny little bit of forwards and back to play, which is good. No up and down, so I'm happy with arm. We'll repeat the steps for the rest of the way across. Woo! With some music.
Yeah.
And a beer.
And a beer.
So going through, getting them all talked to spec, and had a problem. Bonk. That one hits. So drawn with the Nico. We've got a die grind, so we're pulling these two rods back out and doing a bit of die grinding, a bit of cleanup, and then putting it back together. Alright, so now I've finished talking those ones, I'm going to leave it on the final 65 foot-pound setting. I'm going to check every single rod individually, working my way back, just to make sure I haven't missed any. Don't want to find out the hard way.
And what's the hard way sound like? Yeah, pretty accurate.
I don't know, I haven't heard it. I hope I don't hear it after this one.
Yeah. What have we got here, Tobe?
This right here is a camshaft. So, got some cam specs. So first off, it's a custom one from Crankshaft. I've just asked for low down torque to suit the 383 stroker kit. They've given me the specs of 220 to 225 at 0.50 on 114 degrees, 0.550 lift. I don't know what that means. I know a little bit about the lift, but not about the rest. So I've just asked for a custom cam to suit my application. This is what they gave me. So we'll cover this in assembly lube, and then we're just looking for this part here goes to the front for the cam gear timing, and then we're just slotting it in like that. So
beautiful.
That's about all.
That's going to take a long time to clean off.
It's getting late.
You're going to put that everywhere. Oh, hell no.
Oh, good?
Yep.
With our lubed up camshaft that wasn't sus at all.
No.
Lube up the front bearing because that'll see the most. And just slide him on in. So taking the weight of it here and then using my backhand to pivot it. And keep pinching myself.
That'll look right.
Pinch in from the back.
He's done this before.
I have not. And just supporting it from the back, just here.
Yep.
And that's how I'm going to do that last part. So that's it. Camshaft installed. Woo!
Yeah.
So next we're moving on to our lifter buckets. So that's what they look like. And see on the bolts they got a little countersunk part there, maybe.
Yep.
That's so that it sits properly in the hole there. So I'm going to put them in like that with the little divot facing upwards. Get the bolt started. It's like 9 o'clock at night, I'm still sweating. So that's in its little circle. Wiggle, 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 until it stops. So I'm just going to go about that tight.
Mhm.
We're going to take the lifters out
That have been sitting overnight.
that have been sitting in oil overnight. We're going to install them like that with the roller facing in towards the engine like that.
Yep. Whack.
They go on the other side of the lifter.
Oh.
On the lifter bucket. So we're just test fitting the lifter buckets.
Yeah, that was our plan.
Yep.
Just seeing if the bolts work and whatever.
Yep. Yeah, the bolts work.
Yep.
Yep.
Bolts are working and in good condition.
Yep. I'm very glad we checked that.
Yeah.
Definitely check that before installing.
Yep.
I'll do this one.
And they were the right
So-
colour too, so if
Oh, yeah.
they're different colours, you can risk blowing up your engine.
Yep.
So.
What colour's the bad colour?
Pink. Yeah, if the bolts are pink, don't put them in and just go get new ones.
Yep. So take two. We'll put our lifters into the buckets
This is our first go, what do you mean?
with the roller facing in,
So which
Alright.
part's the roller, sorry?
that part. And they can only go in and be square. There's little square thingies in there for them to sit in.
Oh, yep. For a G.
So if you're doing a cam upgrade, these will hold the lifters in while you pull the cam out most of the time. Don't quote me on it. Yeah, once you got all four in straight and definitely covered in oil from sitting overnight,
Yep.
just slide them on ones there in.
How's it going?
Pause video.
E-
So turns out it's much easier to slide them in individually. Just need a little bit of a wiggle. But when you do it, make sure you do it so the flat sides line up with the bucket still. Just like that.
Alright, clicks in,
Clicks in.
and then you can put your
And
bolts.
then, after, lucky we've tested the bolt because now we know that it's just going to go straight in with no dramas.
No
Okay.
dramas.
See that?
Beautiful.
Lucky we tested it.
And if we didn't test it, Then
Who
the-
knows? Who knows what could have happened if we didn't test it?
John.
So now we're going to talk about deck clearance. So what deck clearance is the gap between the top of the piston and the deck here at top dead center. So probably there. So how we're going to do that is with our calipers, we're going to change it to millimeters because we're in Australia.
We're in Australia.
I'm going to put that out a bit. And then I'm going to turn the motor over. Holding it square. So what we got there, 0.66 mil. So type that into a compression ratio calculator. And so off camera, I got Brad to turn it over for me a few times while I held it still. And we very consistently got 0.26 mil pretty much every time.
Yep.
Put that into the compression ratio calculator and it was about 10.56 to 1, so it's probably about where I want it. So good to continue. So the next part will be just a cam retaining plate. So it's an upgraded style with some countersunk bolts there to align it. The torque spec on this one was 18 foot-pound.
That's pretty cool. How it's electric. Does it matter if you just go like a little bit over, or it doesn't really matter?
Oh, I don't know. That's just what the torque spec is. So next part I got here is the wood rough key. So that just gets installed on the crank here. And that's for our timing and our oil pump. So just making sure that's clean inside there. Get the orange hammer. I'll start with this one. If this doesn't do it, I'll move to a big one.
Alright, so I've got that bottom gear on. I actually forgot to take a video, but yeah, it just slid on. So what's the next step?
Next we're degreeing the cam. I've put it on the 0 marker here on the little keyway that's on the crank. And then I've got the 0 up here on top. So all I'm doing is lining that little 0 up with this dot. Getting it right on the cam, so probably about there.
Yep.
And then I'll put the chain on, and then I'll be able to go like that. And that's it, that's the cam degreed. Just to confirm, 0 on the keyway on the crank, right there, and then the 0 there lines up with the dot, with the bolts. Bolts in, everything on, the 0 dot lines up with the 0 there.
Looks good.
So the torque spec for these cam bolts are 26 foot-pounds, so I've taken the bolts out, put a bit of Loctite on them, and just going to go around and keep torquing them until they... I'll go 10 on them all, and then I'll go 26. Oh,
That was already pretty much at 26. Stop.
27 on that one.
Stop.
26. So now I got the oil pump gear, so just go run a little bit of penetrating on there. Hopefully it helps me get it on a little bit easier.
Oh no, that's how easy it was slowing.
So after we used our professional oil pump gear installer tool, we can install the Mellings high flow oil pump. So this one's a M295 HV. It's a high volume oil pump for the LS. So I've just poured some oil just down in the inside there and spun the gears around just because I'm going to be turning the motor around and around, and just so it's not running on the gears dry.
Yep.
So as per the Melling installation video, all you got to do is pop it on, turn the crank over 360 degrees, and then pop it on, do your bolts up finger tight, then you're just turning the pump over 360 degrees, and then that's all. So there's no getting the feeler gauge in or anything like that to align it. So pop it on the gear like that, and that's it snug up against that. And then we can just go through and install all of these hand tight. With our oil pump bolts done up hand tight, we can turn the motor over 360 degrees.
360 degrees.
Right. So I had a bit of a loss with the oil pump. With it on there, the 2-row timing chain was rubbing on the oil pump there, so yeah, I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do there. But so I was looking through the old videos of when I pulled this all apart and seeing it had these little spaces that come with the dual-row timing chain kit. So they sit there and there. That space is the oil pump off the chain and stops our issue. So there we go. We are hand tight on that one. So 360 degrees. Ooh, ooh. 18 foot-pound.
And then just repeat that torque process to all four.
Yep. So that's all done up to 18 foot-pound with a little bit of Loctite on it. And just spun it around. It all sounds good. Not binding up nothing. It sounds great. So little spaces saved us. Perfect.
Beautiful.
These head gaskets are labelled with the front written on them, but if they don't have front written on it, you're looking for the two galleries here to line up with the ones at the back. So got the two dowels on, ready to go. Alright, so just before I've done this, I've cleaned all the surface and everything.
Yep.
Gave it a nice clean, so now I'll go get a head. Just slap our head on.
Slap it carefully.
Use the dowels to line it up. Just like that.
And then just bolts all over the sides. Oh, they're long bolts.
So on this model LS, it's a Gen 3. So you get long and short bolts. So long bolts don't go into this N1. The short ones do. But I think if you got the Gen 4, then they're all the same. So the special book calls for all of them to be, all the bigger ones to be done to 30 Newton meters in this order. So not worrying about the top ones, just these bigger ones. So we'll go through, do them all the 30 Newton meters. So now we're going to go 90 degrees on the same ones we just went through in this exact same sequence.
Yep.
So the last two on this side and this side are only 50 degrees instead of the others, which are 90. For the last ones on top, it's just 30 Newton meters. So we're going to go this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one. That's all.
Nice. And then repeat the process on the other side.
Repeat exactly the same on the other side. I'll show you in the next video. If we're going to split it here, we're going to throw the rockers on, push rods, valley, knock sensors, whole timing cover, rear covers. We've also got a barbell to change out at the back as well. So yeah, look forward to that in the next video.
Nice.